eye on what the city is doing when it spends public money, our money. As a policy person, I saw the city trying to answer the question of how do we get federal infrastructure money to replace the bridge, before asking the what. What is the problem we are trying to solve? And when you create a solution without adequately and objectively defining the problem, you're in for a rough ride. This lack of objectivity is a theme that really hits home with me. So when the city decided to move ahead on borrowing for the largest infrastructure project in the history of the city, without as much as a public hearing, I noticed. And so did over 10,000 of our neighbors who signed the counter petition. Back in January, we sent City Hall the message that we demand on being part of the solution, replacement or refurbishment. As a result, the city undertook what they called the public engagement plan. Now, I kind of felt it was more of a public enragement plan because it kind of got me mad. Because I could see what they were trying to do. They were trying to engage us, but like a realtor or a used car salesman would. Not with objective information so that we, the educated citizens, can draw our own conclusion, but with a sales job. They said, let me tell you how I can put you and your neighbors into a new bridge today, instead of, this is what we think the problem is, here's our solution, what do you think? The decision was made way before you and I were even considered, and that's not right. That's part of why I'm voting no. I'm also voting no because too many questions remain unanswered. And I'm not willing to roll the dice on a project where we don't have the answers to some pretty basic questions. Why are we going with an untested design? Sure, a bridge like this exists at Canary Wharf, but it is nowhere near as long nor as wide. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed the weather last night, it was pretty windy. Engineers have gone on record to say that a new bridge, as designed, can't be opened in heavy winds. So they're replacing a 90-year-old structure that can open in the wind with a new one that can't. What about rail? Your city council can't tell you if rail is on this bridge or not. Could a new bridge even have rail on a single span like this? Is it even possible from an engineering perspective? A refurbished bridge already has rail on it. What about cost certainty? This past Saturday, I had the opportunity as a Fairfield resident to ask Councillor Madoff, what happens if the project goes over budget? The response that I got was, engineers are professionals, and in fact, costs go down when they refine the numbers. Is that right? I'm pretty certain that engineers designed the Vancouver Convention Center, the Big O in Montreal, and they also designed the fast ferries. How did those do for coming in on budget? I can tell by your giggles out there. And who was on the hook when the cash call came to bail out these projects? You and me. What about refurbishment? Why did they insist on doing an apples-to-apples comparison? Why would you take an existing piece of infrastructure and compare it to something that you have the benefit of designing from scratch? No wonder it's a $90+ million refurbished bridge. It's an unfair comparison. And still, the old bridge has rail on it and the new one doesn't. Look, engineers are smart people. If you tell them what they want, they will create a solution. They love a challenge. If you ask them, what is it going to cost to refurbish this bridge for a reasonable amount of money and time, they will give you an answer. And they did. Mayor Fortin loves to tell us how these reports have all been peer-reviewed. What he's not telling you is the 23.6 refurbishment option that Delcan put forward was also peer-reviewed. It's valid. Engineers put their reputations and their insurance on the line for it. So why was it dismissed out of hand? We get back to objectivity. After the counter petition, engineers were asked a loaded question. How will it cost us to refurbish the Johnson Street Bridge to last 100 years and be seismically bulletproof? You know, I hope that in 100 years, my grandchildren will be taking their hover car over the bridge and waving at the pedestrians and cyclists on it. It is amazing to me that with all this uncertainty, Mayor and Council are so certain that we'll be using the Johnson Street Bridge the same way that we're using it today in 100 years. Folks, to me, refurbishment is the right strategy for so many reasons. It creates jobs that stay right here in Victoria. Most of the expertise to refurbish a bridge lives right here in Victoria, here in Fernwood. This morning on CFAX, Mayor Ford said that he wants to support as many local jobs as possible. Actions speak louder than words, though. How can you be for local jobs when a new bridge requires offshore steel, offshore fabrication, and imported labor to install it? Our citizens are left with the pick and shovel jobs. Ladies and gentlemen, on November 20th, let's send a message to City Council. Let's tell them that we won't be manipulated and we won't don't believe in a gold-plated solution when all you need is common sense. I urge you all on November 20th to vote no. Thank you.